I trust my brothers who are one with me. You trust your brothers who are one with you. Welcome back, fam. Today we are going to be studying lesson 181 of A Course in Miracles. And if you got the lesson pulled up right now in front of you, you can see that we are being presented with the introduction to lessons 181 through 200, which means that we are going to be going about these lessons a little different than usual. Now, let's go ahead and dive straight into the introduction for these next 20 lessons, and then we will go ahead and begin lesson 181. If you don't got the book yet, PDF is in the description. And just a little reminder, although we already know this, it is going to give us the best results if we look at these words together and we read them together. Although you can hear me reading them, which is still beneficial, if we want maximum benefit, it is to have the physical material in our possession, because it does something. It has that energy emanating from it, and it will transform you just by having powerful material such as this in your physical environment. But other than that, let's go ahead and dive in. We are going to begin with the introduction to lessons 181 through 200. Our next few lessons make a special point of firming up your willingness to make your weak commitment strong. Your scattered goals blend into one intent. You are not asked for total dedication all the time as yet, but you are asked to practice now in order to attain the sense of peace such unified commitment will bestow, if only intermittently. It is experiencing this that makes it sure that you will give your total willingness to following the way the Course sets forth. Our lessons now are geared specifically to widening horizons and direct approaches to the special blocks that keep your vision narrow and too limited to let you see the value of our goal. We are attempting now to lift these blocks, however briefly. Words alone cannot convey the sense of liberation which their lifting brings, but the experience of freedom and of peace that comes as you give up your tight control of what you see speaks for itself. Me and you have to take the rest of this journey of ours, this remembering journey of ours, very seriously, meaning have fun while we're doing this, but make sure that you are in alignment all day, every day. If you're not having fun, something's wrong, because whenever you're enlightened, whenever you are in the remembrance of who you really are and what everyone really is, you have no other choice but to be having fun. This world is joyous, so have fun with this, and that's how you know that you're going all in. Whenever you take this illusion too seriously, you are simply asleep. I am simply asleep whenever I take this world too seriously, and that is what I will not do, because I'm going to take this more serious than ever starting today. Although we've been doing a great job of that already, we can go even 10 times harder, meaning although we are doing a great job while we're in each other's presence, what does that look like when we go our separate ways? It is going to require us to keep this on our mind more of the time. And this is a little side note, but I'm not sure if you realized that we are halfway done. We are halfway done with the lessons. Me and you have spent a good amount of time together here, studying together. We've got to know each other, and we have remembered, we have unlearned a lot of stuff together, and we have became more free together, and this has been such a great time so far. We have 365 lessons total, and when we divide that by 2, it's approximately 183. So let's just consider that halfway point as of right now. We have came a long way. I'm sure you know that by now. but we've came a very long way, and we are going to go even further, and we will be unrecognizable whenever we are completed with these lessons, just like how we are unrecognizable right now compared to who we were as we began here together. So that's just a little side note. I thought I'd mention that, but we are in the right place at the right time and can never be anywhere other than that. Let's continue. But the experience of freedom and of peace that comes as you give up your tight control of what you see speaks for itself. Your motivation will be so intensified that words become of little consequence. You will be sure of what you want and what is valueless. And so, we start our journey beyond words by concentrating first on what impedes your progress still. Experience of what exists beyond defensiveness remains beyond achievement while it is denied. It may be there, but you cannot accept its presence. So we now attempt to go past all the defenses for a little while each day. No more than this is asked, because no more than this is needed. It will be enough to guarantee the rest will come. And that is the end of the introduction to these next few lessons that we have here together. So that is the end of the introduction for the lessons 181 through 200, the next 20 lessons we have here together. Now, let's go ahead and dive straight into lesson 181. I trust my brothers who are one with me. Trusting your brothers is essential to establishing and holding up your faith in your ability to transcend doubt and lack of sure conviction in yourself. When you attack a brother, you proclaim that he is limited by what you have perceived in him. Powerful, beautifully stated. When you attack a brother, you proclaim that he is limited by what you have perceived in him, meaning whenever you attack a brother of yours, you have perceived him as a body. You have a distorted image of who this individual really is, and therefore you have attacked yourself doing so because you believe that you are like him, whether you say it with words or not. You believe like that you are like that individual. So whenever you see another body and you think that that person is a body or guilty or not enough or better than or whatever it is that the ego sees in that person, you are reinforcing separation in your own mind and therefore will not experience peace. So whenever you look at them for who they really are and you say, this person they are spirit, they are love, they are light, they are as God created them. Therefore, I too must be as God created me, because me and him are the same. Me and her are the same. We are all the same. Although the form appears different in this world, at the very core of my being, I am the very same at the very core of that person's being. And whenever we attack a brother, we are simply proclaiming that he is limited by what we have perceived in him and cannot perceive ourselves as any different. You do not look beyond his errors. Rather, they are magnified, becoming blocks to your awareness of the capital S self that lies beyond your own mistakes and past his seeming sins as well as yours. One more time. You do not look beyond his errors. Rather, they are magnified, becoming blocks to your awareness of who you really are. Whenever you magnify someone else's errors or what they did wrong or could have done better, or you're judging in any type of way and you're focused on that, the ego loves to do that because it makes the ego feel better. It makes you feel better when you're identified with the ego because you're saying, I am better than, or I'm good because someone else is doing less than me, which puts my position as a little bit better. Whew, close one. And the ego always needs that validation because it doesn't have no validation otherwise. It's not really there. It's a false perception. So me and you lose access to the state of mind when we're identifying with the ego and seeing errors in someone else. We are not able to perceive the capital S self, which is in me and them, and in all, which is God. We are unable to experience who we really are whenever we're looking at them as they are not. Perception has a focus. It is this that gives consistency to what you see. Change but this focus, and what you behold will change accordingly. Your vision now will shift to give support to the intent which has replaced the one you held before. Remove your focus on your brother's sins, and you experience the peace that comes from faith in sinlessness. Now, this is powerful stuff right here. Even if you didn't grow up with a Christian background, and even if the word sin sounds too strong of a word, it sounds like irrelevant if you didn't grow up with that background, whatever, and I'm sure we know this by now because we've had this discussion many times, but just a little reminder, that word, although we may not believe in that, we are believing in sins whenever we are seeing error in someone else. At the very core of that word, sin is the belief in separation, the belief that I am separate from my source. So whenever you are thinking any thoughts that are not loving, you can consider that sinning. You wouldn't call it that, but that's kind of what's happening. Whenever you're thinking any thoughts that are separate from your source, that's exactly what you're doing. That's exactly what anyone's doing. Now, we're not going to get punished for that because we are not really doing nothing in truth, because we're just simply perceiving falsely. So there's no consequences whatsoever. The only consequence for us not perceiving lovingly is that now we're in hell. We're in our own hell. We are imprisoned and limited, but only by those limitations that we've imposed on ourselves. And there is no need to be there. It's needless. It is unnecessary. So let us not do that no more, because there's really no point to it. Remove your focus on your brother's sins. Remove your focus on that person's wrongdoings, on their past, on what you think they could have done better. Whenever we're focused on that, we are not seeing them for who they really are, and therefore me and you experience fear as a result of that. But whenever we remove our focus on our brother's sins, which are not really there, and we experience the peace that comes from faith in sinlessness, we experience the peace that comes from knowing that there is nothing that this person could do in truth that could ever change who they really are. Sinlessness is a perfect word, because although in this world, in this dream that we are all sharing here together, we can act insanely. Of course, we know this. We know that there's people attacking, and there are people stealing, and fraudulence, and better than, less than, and insecure, and all those illusions. We understand that is what is the effect of someone who doesn't know who they are. They're going to act in those ways. Me and you still act in those ways from time to time because we lose sight of what we're experiencing now, which is why for the next few months we're here together doing these lessons, we're going to take this more serious than ever, because me and you want to remain in the state of mind. We don't want to be in the state of mind of neediness and not enoughness and lack and sickness. Sickness is not a bodily condition. Sickness is whenever you're thinking any thought that does not stem from love. That's what it is to be sick. And although you see a person over there who appears healthy, but their mind is sick, if they keep that thought up that is tearing them apart from their source, if they keep that up, that because they are the cause, that effect is going to have nowhere else to go but to take place through their body, and therefore it's going to become sick. And they're going to say, oh, I'm sick because somebody gave me this cough, or it happened outside of there, this or this or this or that. But whenever you know that you're the cause of every single motherfucking thing in your life, that's how serious this is. You are the cause of every single thing in your life. I don't care who disagrees with that. They are the cause of everything. Although they wouldn't say that I did this to myself, we do it. We have to know that. We have to know that that is fact. And if we don't know that or believe that yet, we should start believing that right now, moving on, because what we're saying virtually, whenever we're saying something outside of me was the cause of what I'm experiencing right now, you're giving your power away. You're powerless, even if it's to a little degree. That is simply not so. You are the most powerful being in this universe, in this world, in existence. And we have to take full 100%, 1000% responsibility of everything we experience. Because when we do, we know that we can change it. What the individual does whenever they don't take full responsibility for what they're experiencing, they are powerless now because they're saying that something outside of me caused this and therefore I'm out of control now. And until that thing changes, then my life or experience will change. But until then, it's not going to change. So keep that in mind. Sickness begins in the mind. You are sick when you're thinking any thought that is apart from God, to whatever degree. Me and you are learning to get to the point where we are masters, where we abide in this state of enlightenment throughout the day. Now, don't get me wrong, being here in this illusion, we are going to experience worry, doubt, fear, anger, being scared, anxious. But the difference between me and you right now and who we are whenever we're asleep is that me and you can choose to turn anger off or on. Just like how we go to the scary movie to get scared, or we go watch a sad movie to cry, or we go experience a roller coaster because we want to feel that thrill of falling and dropping and feeling that that terror. We want that. We want to feel those emotions. But me and you, because we are in the state of mind, can turn it off and on as we please. We are in control here. What happens whenever me and you are asleep, though, we're experiencing worry, doubt, fear, but we're not aware that we could turn it off and on because it takes over us. The ego takes over. We are operating from a sleeping mind, and we are thinking that what we are experiencing is real, and we are bound to that experience, and we are out of control in that moment. And what me and you are practicing right now is to be aware. You are in control 100% of everything in your life. Everything, even if it appears like it happened to you on a higher awareness that is above your awareness level, you did it to yourself in order to learn a lesson that was necessary in order to get you to a higher level of awareness. This universe operates in a way that serves everyone's highest being. There is nothing that is not going on here in this universe that is not to help us all become enlightened. That is the code behind this universe, is for our remembrance. It is everything that is ever happening, ever has happened, and ever will happen was done so for the purpose of reawakening the Son of God from his sleep, which is me and you and all. Me and you are here, and we have to understand that we do it all to ourselves because we sometimes, when we're asleep, deem situations as bad and good. But whenever we step out of that state of mind and we're where we're at right now, we experience what someone would call a bad situation, we understand that it's not really bad or good. It is simply just happening. And as a result of this happening, I am going to expand and evolve. And I can't expand and evolve, or better said, I can't experience the results of that expansion whenever I'm so focused on the problem. Because I'm focused on the problem, although who I really am, which is source, evolved as a result of that contrast, I'm still angry and pissed off and sad and depressed because I'm so focused on the problem and not the solution that was simultaneously created as a result of experiencing that so-called problem. Remember, when we experience contrast, we know what we don't want, and therefore in that simultaneous instant we know more clearly what we do want, and most of us forget to focus on what was just given birth to, on the new desire, on the expansion. We're so focused on the problem, we tear ourselves apart from our source when we could go where our source went, which is to the solution, and being in the state of mind of experiencing what it would be like to have the solution already. It's always here. The answer is always here. 100.9 FM is always here, and all you got to do is just tune into that station. We can't hear it right now, but we're going to bring out the trusty device. If we pull out the device, see, we don't hear nothing right now, but if we pull out an instrument that will allow us to hear that, watch this. You see that? That music's still playing right now. We just can't hear it because the interpreter is off. But if we turn the interpreter on, the sound's still here. It's passing through the air right now. We just can't interpret it. But it doesn't mean that it's not there. And same thing with the state of mind. It is always here, and we can always tune into this state of mind. We know this by now. Me and you are 181 days straight with this powerful material, and we know this. But again, just like we read in the introduction to these next 20 lessons, the introduction stated that our next few lessons make a special point of firming up our willingness to make our weak commitment strong. So anybody could know what we're discussing here, and they can know it conceptually, but it's only whenever you practice these tools, practice these processes, and practice living life through truth, practice living life and thinking your thoughts all day 24/7 with the tools that we have been given, and apply what we have been given, that something actually begins to change. So I know that me and you know this. We know this. We know this to be true. We know this to be certain. We are certain about what we know. However, me and you still have weak commitment from time to time, meaning we allow ourselves to go back to sleep and experience what we wouldn't choose deliberately to experience. Remember, we're choosing at all moments in time, but most people are doing so unintentionally. Me and you in this moment are choosing deliberately because we're aware right now. We're awake right now. We have the power to choose deliberately. When we're asleep, however, we're unaware that we're choosing, but we are choosing. We're getting what's coming to us, and then we're mad about what's coming to us because we think it's someone else's fault. We give them all the power, and although we can't really do that, we can believe we can, which is just as powerful as actually us giving our power away. Now we're powerless, and now we're stuck. Simple as that. And we're asleep on the hamster wheel in the illusion, and we have wandered off. We're in a trance. Let's wake up. There's no need to be there whenever you can experience all this love that is here right now. This faith receives its only sure support from what you see in others past their sins. For their mistakes, if focused on, are witnesses to sins in you. Beautifully said. One more time. This is a great lesson, don't you think? For their mistakes, if focused on, are witnesses to sins in you. Their mistakes, your enemy's mistakes, your parents' mistakes, your siblings' mistakes, your friends' mistakes, that stranger's mistakes that you don't even know in real life, all of their mistakes, if focused upon, are witnesses to our mistakes, our errors, our so-called sins. Whenever we see that in someone else, we cannot help but see our own mistakes, because remember, we giving and receiving are one in truth, meaning if we're giving all that judgment and condemnation, we must be doing so 10 times more to ourselves. We are receiving that judgment that we give. So let us no longer focus upon anybody's mistakes, because they're not really there, and it is simply an illusion. Because if that individual who made a so-called mistake knew who they really were, they wouldn't have done what they did that you are deeming as a mistake. And whenever you see that for what's going on, simply this individual over there, our brother, has fallen asleep, and he is acting out of a state of mind that is of forgetfulness, and he's acting insanely. That's all that's happening. He's not doing nothing that could change truth. He is simply love and light who forgot that he is love and light, and the ego has taken over. That's it, period. Same thing with me and you. That's all that happens with us when we make mistakes, whenever we make errors, or when we could have chosen truth rather than fear. That's it. And whenever we see it as that, then we know, hey, I'm love and light too, and sometimes I fall asleep and forget. But that's it. That's all that's happening. If I really believe so certainly that they are a body and they did this terrible thing, then I cannot help but believe that I am a body, and believe that I am bound to those mistakes that I made. So let's just remember that. And you will not transcend their sight and see the sinlessness that lie beyond. Therefore, in practicing today, we first let all such little focuses give way to our great need to let our sinlessness become apparent. We instruct our minds that it is this we seek, and only this, for just a little while. We do not care about our future goals, and what we saw an instant previous has no concern for us within this interval of time wherein we practice changing our intent. Another way of saying what was just stated was we are not focused on the past and we're not focused on the future because they do not exist. Time is a belief in your mind, but when you focus all your attention on the now, this is where all the joy is. And what you call the future is actually being created right now in this nanosecond, now and now and now and now. And whenever you focus on the love that's happening right now, you allow more love to extend throughout your future in whatever way that looks like for you, whether that be more money, more love, more relationships, more friends, more joy, more experiences. It will all unfold in that way if you focus on the now. This is not woo-woo. This is not conceptual. This is not sound good material. This is simply how it works, and we could choose to accept it or deny it, but this is just how it works. Now, the past, same thing for the past, is gone. Do not focus on the past unless you're focusing on all of the loving aspects that happened in the past, because if love happened somewhere in the past, it's happening right now. And whenever you're focusing on the fear that happened in the past, it's not there no more, and it never was, because fear is the lack of love. Fear does not exist. Only love exists. Whenever you focus on the love that is here and now, you are no longer bound to the anxiety that comes up when you're thinking of what may happen in the future, because you're thinking about the future based off of past experiences. How can you give reference to something how can you think of a future different from the past? Whenever someone's basing their future and they're trying to plan for the future, they're basing it off their past. Meaning if they're focused on all their failures from the past, that's their reference point and that's how they're viewing what the future is going to be like. Therefore, they're feeling that failure right now in this instant, and they're creating more of that, and they're saying, see, I knew this was going to happen. And it's like, duh, you created it. You are doing it all the time, and you're just unaware of that you're doing so. And we are going to not do that no more. We're going to become so aware and stay in this present moment that we know that the future that we call future cannot be anything other than love, because love is all that exists here and now. And whenever love, which is here and now, which is where we are, is our reference point, then we understand that the same goes for what we call the future. Now, let's continue. We seek for innocence and nothing else. We seek for it with no concern but now. A major hazard to success has been involvement with your past and future goals. One more time. A major hazard to success has been involvement with your past and future goals. Now, we're going to pause right there and go to the previous paragraph, and it stated, we do not care about our future goals. Now, someone who is so goal-oriented would have closed the book by now, because they're like, what? We don't care about our goals? Close the book, and go work on their goals. However, right here it states, a major hazard to success has been involvement with your past and future goals. Meaning, if you're so focused on what you have to do or what you feel like you need to do, then you are taking action from a place of neediness and lack, because you don't understand that you need do nothing. Not in a sense that I need to be lazy and everything's going to come to me, but understanding that at the core of your being, you are it all, you have it all. And only whenever you take action from that knowingness will you yield yourself results that will reflect that abundance and that presence. Now, what most people do is they are setting goals, and they're doing so because they feel like they need to get somewhere that they're not already, and therefore there's a lot of neediness and there's a lot of doubt and fear and uncertainty. And although they may accomplish those goals, it could have been done so much more effortlessly and seamlessly if they were to have been in the state of mind that we're in right now. You have been quite preoccupied with how extremely different the goals this course is advocating are from those you held before. And you have also been dismayed by the depressing and restricting thought that Even if you should succeed, you will inevitably lose your way again. How could this matter? For the past is gone, the future but imagined. These concerns are but defenses against present change of focus and perception. Nothing more. We lay these pointless limitations by a little while. We do not look to past beliefs, and what we will believe will not intrude upon us now. We enter in the time of practicing with one intent, to look upon the sinlessness within. We recognize that we have lost this goal if anger blocks our way in any form. And if a brother's sins occur to us, our narrowed focus will restrict our sight and turn our eyes upon our own mistakes, which we will magnify and call our, quote, sins. So, for a little while, without regard to past or future, should such blocks arise, we will transcend them with instructions to our minds to change their focus, as we say. Now, we are presented with an italicized portion of the text. We're going to read this, and we are going to read this anytime today or any time period when we regard to past or future. It states right here, so for a little while, without regard to past or future, should such blocks arise, we will transcend them with instructions to our minds to change their focus, as we say, meaning if any blocks come up by thinking of the past or the future or anything that is upsetting, anything that is not love, you will use this powerful tool that we are going to read right now. It is not this that I would look upon. I trust my brothers who are one with me. I trust my brothers who are one with me. It is not this that I would look upon. And we will also use this thought to keep us safe throughout the day. We do not seek for long-range goals, as each obstruction seems to block the vision of our sinlessness. We seek but for surcease an instant from the misery the focus upon sin will bring, and uncorrected will remain. Nor do we ask for fantasies, for what we seek to look upon is really there. And that's funny, one more time. Nor do we ask for fantasies. We don't ask for fantasies, for what we seek to look upon is really there. Okay, let's continue. And as our focus goes beyond mistakes, we will behold a holy, sinless world. When seeing this is all we want to see, when this is all we seek for in the name of true perception, are the eyes of Christ inevitably ours, and the love he feels for us becomes our own as well. This will become the only thing we see reflected in the world and in ourselves. Love will be the only thing that we see reflected in the world and in ourselves as well, and everyone and everything. Remember, whenever we see anything other than love, we are not seeing it all. And one who is asleep may believe that that's a far-fetched statement. You're telling me I have to only see love? How is that possible? Look what's going on out there. And of course, you're not going to be blind from how there are individuals acting insanely, but you're going to see it for just that. Someone acting insanely, meaning they are love and light and they have forgotten and they are not in their right mind. That you can still see the world with love, because you understand that it's all love, and for a temporary portion of time in this world, they have fallen asleep to that period. That's it. That's all that's ever going on. Nothing too serious here. So whenever someone's looking at us like we're crazy because we have learned to attain enlightenment forevermore, 24/7, all the time, and we're seeing nothing but love in everyone and everything, they're looking at us like, you must be high. You must be on drugs. You must be the one who is insane here. You need to go to one of those crazy houses. But no, me and you have actually attained something that they only get glimpses of. Me and you are in control. We are the center of the universe. We are the we are the center of our own world. We are the center of it, and we are it all, and we know that not only conceptually, but we have experienced that from time to time here together and practiced experiencing that every day. And soon it will be the only thing that we experience. And whenever we're experiencing this state of mind, we could not see anything other than love. There's nothing out there that should be able to trigger you. If there's something out there that triggers you, that's your work. And that's good, because now you know what you need to release and detach from and transmute in order to remain here forevermore. One who is experiencing what we're experiencing all the time, and we are in total bliss and joy, could trigger someone, because that individual is so identified with the ego, and the ego doesn't like to see happiness or love, because love is an attack upon the ego. So it thinks. The ego is not really there, but you get the point. Love is an attack on fear. Now, love doesn't attack nothing, because love doesn't attack. Love doesn't attack what is not really there. Fear just feels attacked whenever love is in its presence. So whenever you see an individual who is in fear, operating from trying to prove something to themselves and operating from whatever insane belief system they're operating from, and they see an individual like ourselves, and they see that we're in love or we're in joy, we are in peace, that could trigger them, because all that love shining on who they think they are, they feel attacked, because they are receiving something other than what they think they are. Whenever they receive fear, it feels comfortable, it feels normal, it feels recognizable, and they like that. And whenever they experience love, it feels like an attack, which is a counter intention. They have a counter intention in their field. They have a counter intention in their awareness, because everybody's seeking for love. Everybody, even the most fearful person, even the most angry and mad person is seeking for love, but they just don't know where to find it, so they're looking for it in the wrong places. And whenever they actually find love, they block themselves from experiencing it, because it's that counter intention. There's really no clear words I could say right now to explain why that happens, but it just does. And me and you from time to time too, we sometimes block ourselves from experiencing this love, because we think that there's something out there that is better for us, that there's something else in our best interest. And we think that love is in something else, a person, a form, or something else, and not in our own clarity. Same thing with that individual over there. They are working against themselves, because they're looking for what they think that they want, which is love, somewhere where it is not. And whenever they are being presented with it where it is, they're not going to look there. They're going to feel attacked. It's really an insane thought system that somebody has while identified with the ego, asleep in this dream. And again, me and you have this from time to time as well, but whenever we learn to look at it from a bird's eye view, like we're looking at it right now, we can transcend that, and now we can blow out that charge while we're in this state of mind. Quick little pause, but did you know that right now, while we're in this high frequency state of mind and we're here together with one another in the presence of God and truth, you could actually be thinking about all of your fears and illusions, and you could activate them right now. And by you activating those illusions, all of your fears right now, while we're in this high state of mind, you can transmute them like that and blow them out of your field. You can neutralize that charge, so that way whenever you are operating from a lower state of mind, that cannot control you no more, because you released it. It's only whenever we're aware of the block, whenever we're unaware of the blocks that we have, that they operate behind the scenes and control our lives, and we have counter intention to what it is that we desire. But whenever you're in this state of mind, like we are right now, in love, in peace, and enlightened, then we can look at those blocks that we are aware that we have, those times where we sabotage ourselves because we're too needy, or we're trying too hard, or we're not trying enough, whatever it may be, and we can release that while we're here. We can't do that though whenever we're in that state of mind. Whenever we're experiencing the trigger, you and you're believing that that trigger, it's causing an uncontrollable and irrational emotion, in that instant you can't transmute that charge because you're being taken over by it, and you are on an awareness that is lower than the actual block, meaning you are unaware that something is operating beneath your level of awareness, and you just think that that's the way that life is. But however, whenever me and you are here above the battleground, so to speak, from a bird's eye perspective, from an eagle perspective, and we're looking at the problems that we know that get to us, the triggers that get to us from time to time, and we look at them from up here, we can release them because we are aware of them. I see you, you could say, to that energy in your field. I see you and I release you. And what you do whenever you do that is something powerful, because you can't do that whenever you're indulged in that emotion. But whenever you activate that frequency while being in this state of mind, you can release it. Now let's go ahead and continue. The world, which once proclaimed our sins, becomes the proof that we are sinless. And our love for everyone we look upon attests to our remembrance of the holy capital S Self, which knows no sin and never could conceive of anything without its sinlessness. We seek for this remembrance as we turn our minds to practicing today. We look neither ahead nor backwards. We look straight into the present, and we give our trust to the experience we ask for now. Our sinlessness is but the will of God. This instant is our willing one with His. And that is the end of lesson 181. This is going to be a powerful next few months that we have here together. Very powerful. I'm sure that you could see already by the start of this lesson and the introduction to the next 20 lessons. Today was a very powerful lesson. It is a very big energy, very big presence lesson. We have just received a lot in this lesson that we wouldn't have been able to receive if we haven't done all the prerequisite work. Meaning, if we came, or if someone's coming straight diving into lesson 181 and they haven't done all the other lessons like me and you have, they're going to read it and they're going to still get a lot of value from it. However, they're not going to be able to comprehend it at the level that we are right now, because they don't have that solid foundation of all of the material that led us to having this experience and this understanding. So let's not skip steps. Let's stay focused. Let's stay on this path, and let's understand that these next few months we have here together are going to be very powerful, very crucial for our ability to maintain here all the time. Have no more triggers, have no more blocks, have no more buttons that could be pushed. We are going to get to the point where we are feeling like we are right now, but nothing could throw us off balance. So we will conclude right here for today, and may we trust our brothers today who are one with us. May this lesson preoccupy our minds throughout the entire day. May we never be the same, and we will meet here again tomorrow for lesson 182.